So I started with NaturaLawn in 2009 as a telemarketer for probably 4 or 5 months, and then I was offered the sales manager position. And I'm currently the sales manager of the Damascus branch of NaturaLawn.
I've been with NaturaLawn since October of 2014. I'm a technician, but I also am part of the franchise development team.
I was a service technician for 3 years, went to a trainer for about 1.5 years, and then I moved up to an operations manager for 2 years, and then I was promoted to branch manager of the Richmond, Virginia location.
I've been part of NaturaLawn since 1990.
I started with NaturaLawn back in 1996. I started as a part-time telemarketer, working 4 hours in the afternoon. I eventually moved up to the telemarketing coordinator, and then in 2000, I transitioned over into admin, where I've been ever since.
This is my 5th season. I started in the sales department, but when we had that big blizzard, I really stepped up, so that's when Paul kind of moved me up 2 years ago. He was just like, hey, we're putting together this team, and I spoke to Matt, and I recommended you for it. And when I had that opportunity, of course, I was like, sure, let's do it.
I started with NaturaLawn in 2002 as an aeration seeding helper. Currently I work at the Damascus location. I'm the branch manager.
I started in the Damascus location. I worked for Paul Adams for 5 years as a lawn care technician, did some work in the sales department, and did some aeration seeding in that office as well before moving on to the Manassas office. I'm the branch manager. I've been with NaturaLawn for 9 years.
I started as a sales manager back in 2000s. Purchased a franchise within the last year or so.
Most of everything that I know in terms of the NaturaLawn systems was trained by Paul Adams. Now, I already knew sales techniques since I sold real estate full-time for over 20 years. Okay? So I was able to merge the two.
When it comes to my manager, who is Paul Adams, you could not ask for a better manager. He is always there to answer your questions. His door is always open. You can go in if you have something on your mind or call him in the middle of the day. So Paul is always there to help you learn and grow.
I received a ton of support from Tony, anywhere from work-related to personal to team building to motivating other people.
The support I received, when I got it, I thought it was a little tough. Now, when I look back at it, it was all in making me who I've become. He was there to push me, to motivate me, always telling me that where I was currently was not where I was going to end up. So as far as the support, he was there to push me. And look, all these years later, now I'm traveling and training others.
Paul really had a lot of faith in me to keep me around through some struggles that I had. So it was a growing process for me. Now I've kind of stepped up to it and matured, and he's kind of really coached me along, from the beginning. And I've never had a manager ever like Paul before.
I wouldn't be here now if it weren't for Tony Vesker. Tony taught me a lot about not just business, taught me a lot about myself, about what I wanted out of life. I mean, I didn't go into NaturaLawn looking to make that a career. Certainly a great boss, he was a taskmaster. I would like to say I enjoyed every minute of it, but I learned a lot of things from Tony. He was a great mentor, and I'm proud to call him one of my closest friends.
Ton of support. The training that happened in the Damascus office, I still get support from Paul Adams or from the Damascus location and the home office.
He was very helpful with every aspect of the job. He helped teach me a lot as I moved up through the company, and then he really, we talked about doing more with the company, and I invested more in the franchise.
So the skills that I lacked when I first came to NaturaLawn was the skill to be able to sell a small ticket item at a high volume. But then my son got cancer. So it was a very difficult time for us. And Phil Catron took me into NaturaLawn family through that whole process. I would say it was more because of Phil Catron and taking care of family than it was money.
When they're first starting in this business, when you knock on the door to do somebody's application, you're praying that they don't answer. But as time goes on and you get comfortable with how to solve problems, you actually kind of look forward to somebody answering the door so you can educate them on what's happening and why it's happening.
I lacked a lot of skills. Came in the industry at 19 years old, so it was my first real job. Through that, I learned time management. I learned how to manage other people, finances. I've learned how to identify problems before they arise.
When I originally came to Natural Lawn of America in 1996, grass was just grass. I had no knowledge of what fescue was. I had zero clue of what Bermuda was. As long as it was green, it was good. But over the course of several years, we've gone through many different trainings where they taught us a lot of agronomic knowledge, and I've been able to build on it year after year through employee meetings and ongoing training and support in our own locations. So that has been quite instrumental in helping me train others.
My social skills, like my interaction with customers, my ability to kind of think outside the box, whether it's in the field or at the office, managing some of the guys, coaching them along, training people. I've really been able to find creative ways to do that.
One of the most difficult things for me as a manager has been to release responsibility. It remains sometimes a challenge to this day. Phil tells me all the time, open up opportunity for yourself and for other people. You certainly have to know how to delegate. So it's been something that I've worked on over the last 6 years that I've been in Damascus.
Customer service, I was very young when I started, so customer service was something that came natural, but I wasn't a professional at it. So I developed a lot of customer service skills. NaturaLawn raised me, so a lot of things I learned through NaturaLawn.
There's so much opportunity at NaturaLawn. If you just look and you want to grow, there's huge opportunities. Pay attention and listen to the pros around you so you can learn.
When you first start and you're learning about fertilizers and grasses and grassy weeds and broadleaf weeds, it can seem daunting. The chemistry and different grasses, stuff like that, soon after a while it starts to make sense and you get comfortable with it.
Soak up as much information as you can the minute you walk in the door. Don't think your job is just to go out and push a spreader and pull a hose. Even if you don't intend on being in this industry forever, you never know where you're gonna go. You learn how to manage a van, so you learn inventory. You learn how to talk to customers, so you learn customer service. You learn the agronomics of it, so you actually learn the science of the business. You can take that experience to any industry and utilize it somewhere. So you can say, I'm a manager, even if you're just a route technician, because you're managing that route. I control inventory because you control and you're responsible for the materials on your van. Find people who you've seen climb that ladder and just clinch onto them.
Just be on time, give 100% effort, and be coachable. It's very important to start them out on the right foot so they'll remain that way,
I say, take today and tomorrow, it's a couple days. I want you to observe. I want you to look not only what you're seeing out in the field, I want you to look around my office, see what we do and the way we interact together. And if you want to be a part of that, starting day 3, we'll put you into full training. To be successful, you have to have people invested in it. For people to be invested in it, they have to want to be there.
Be passionate about whatever you do, whether it's for one day or 10 years.
Just to pay attention, be willing to try new things, and try your best.
Well, absolutely. I mean, the reality is this. If there's money going to be given to you for every year that you're here, why wouldn't you take advantage of that?
Absolutely, and I plan on it. How many other companies do you know that will give you $20,000 towards starting your own franchise? I can't think of one.
It would depend on the territory. If an opportunity arose where I can still be with my family or as close to my family as possible, then sure, I would capitalize on it.
I love what I do as far as teaching. I love empowering others to do well with purchasing theirs and owning theirs and watching them be successful. So when I see others succeed, I feel like I've succeeded.
The incentive program would be excellent for me to capitalize on, especially being kind of young and being able to take advantage of that type of opportunity.
It really got my foot in the door to help me start the franchise.
I haven't made a decision yet if I'm thinking about it, but it gives me another opportunity and a step forward with more support.
Yes, because it's an opportunity for my employees. So that's how I can capitalize on it. Anything you want, if I think you're capable of doing it, I'll do everything in my power to get you there. So that's one of the things that I think is a huge one that I'd like to see more people take advantage of. Best interview ever.